What's up, poetry fans? Welcome to another episode of Shut Up and Poetry. We're your hosts. I'm Essie Says. This is Salarkhan, and we want to give you poetry. So take it. Who are we featuring?
Paulie Lipman.
Oh yeah, this guy was at the Southwest Shootout and he killed. Check out his poem.
Nothing will reinforce your idea of white privilege like a trip to Texas. Forget the jokes, the wisecracks about pickup trucks, inbreeding, or secession. Far too often, humor gives ignorance a place to hide. But so does Jack Daniels. And Lone Star. And unsubtle 10-year-olds throwing shade at each other across a soccer field. The epithets hidden beneath every good game. You can try to flinch. You can try to feign surprise. Try not me. Try colorblind. Try 1/16. Try some of my best friends. Nah, fuck it. Try post-racial society and see if it don't catch on the frayed noose stuck in the back of your teeth. This is yours. The cellular inheritance. It's not the Atlas boulder you claim to have cast off on an unfortunate pedestal whose thin air heights can hoodwink even the best of us into revisionists. I know. Because it's mine too. I used to think I had a right to deny it. That my people, cursed since we were framed for the spear in the side of a Messiah, that my people, hounded out of every good inch of dirt this earth holds, arrogantly convinced me that our Holocaust was the first and only, that the barbed wire star of David lodged in our veins, branded us other and entitled. The blue and white borders I have flown have since bled into the rainbow banner of the men and women I choose to bring to bed, and so many other flags flown that my common red beneath all this has been bleached into gray. But I can choose to show you all that. I can choose to split the stitching and spill every little bit of bipolar, queer little Jew boy, man-child at your feet, never forgetting I have the privilege of camouflage. I can pass, even in Texas. The process of owning this starts with questions, genuine and concise. Then, try silence. Try listening. Try shutting up long enough to hear. Try realizing the difference between appreciating other cultures and holding them hostage. Try more questions, and then, if your own camouflage tricks ignorant little motherfuckers into thinking you agree with them, try facts. Try reason. Try educating. Try eloquence. Try reminding them of every chain rattled, of every blocked border, of every internment camp, of every auction block, of every Holocaust. Try taking every run-together color underneath your skin and paint their pedestal so bright they can no longer deny that it is there.
So something interesting that I want to point on that Paulie does here is that I think there's absolutely a way that you can do this poem completely wrong and have it come across, especially to people of color, as kind of like missing the point.
Right.
And I think that what Paulie does is he weighs it in something true to him that makes it, that gives it some perspective. Like he's talking about being Jewish and being bi, and how, like, you know, maybe I have this kind of, like, I can see the racial tension, I can see, like, the oppression because I know, I understand that. But he's also mentioning, like, that doesn't make him an exception to the rule. That doesn't make him, like, any more entitled to being, like, not being considered to have white privilege. It doesn't take that white privilege away. It just means that he might be able to more empathize with people of color. And I love that. I think that is what is really important in these conversations, in these poems about white privilege. It's not to say, oh, I see it, that makes me a better person because I notice it. It's to say, like, I see it and we need to do something about it. We need to have the courage to kind of talk about it because he brings up this point, like, we try to, like, shy it away with things like humor or, like, alcohol. We just try to pretend like it doesn't exist, and Paulie just, like, attacks it. He is so impassioned in getting this issue out there, and I love that.
Yeah. I think one of my favorite parts, you know, talking about him having his own life, you know, being Jewish, being queer, like, you know, in ways like he's been oppressed, but he's saying, but I can walk out in society and hide those things. If you can't hide the color of your skin.
Yeah.
And to me, like, that was, like, that was a really big, like,
That was
eye-opener
a huge
for me.
line. I love that line. Like, I can pass. Like,
And I feel like a lot of people don't understand that. Like, you know, people of color, they don't get a day off. When you have white privilege, you know, you can pick and choose. Like, one day you're gonna, you know, really fight for the rights of people who don't have the same privilege that you do, and then the next day you can, like, stay in bed and not do anything about it. Well, it's not the case for everybody. So obviously it takes a lot of courage to say something, and it can be uncomfortable, and you might look like a loser or whatever. So if you guys have suggestions, let us know. What do you do?
Yeah, this is a really important piece, and it's important to do these kind of pieces the right way. I think Paulie absolutely nails it. It's to talk about this idea of entitlement, of privilege, but in a way that is very identifying. It's seeing that this privilege exists, it's acknowledging it, and seeing what you can do to change it. And I think that Paulie sums it up towards the end of his poem, you know, painting it so bright that you can't ignore that it's there. And I think that is the overall message that you got to take away from pieces like this. So Paulie, thank you so much for this beautiful piece. We'll have more information so you guys can hear more of Paulie's awesome poetry in the description section below. But let us know what you thought of his poem. This is an issue that is really hot in our culture and our society right now. So you obviously have opinions about it. So let us know in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe, and we will see you guys next week for another episode of Shut Up and Poetry. See you then. Bye.
Shut up.
And poetry.